Hello everyone. So far with the pricing chapter, we started with the linear demand curve and the exponential demand curve. Then we proceeded to talking about non-linear pricing, which has to do with bundling, having different prices for a product as a standalone, sold standalone, and the product in a bundle, in a group with other products. Then we talked about mixed bundling, pure bundling. Then we talked about the quantity discount. With the quantity discount also we covered two schemes of pricing, standard and non-standard. And it has to do with the concept of a cut value, which is a unit, a threshold value that identifies the pricing rule. And then now we're talking about pricing in terms of skimming pricing, which is in terms of having the price changes over time, either through introducing new technology products that starts with a very high price at the very beginning, and then the price is reduced over a period of time gradually, or pricing discount. So last time we talked about skim pricing. We talked about this scheme where we have 10 different periods of time, either years, months, whatever you like it, quarters, not months maybe. And then we talked about here that we want the computer to find out the prices that maximizes this revenue. Revenue, of course, here is the sum of all this revenue, and revenue is the units times the price. So it's going to be the units sold over here times the price. This is why when I started with you last time, I was able to put everything together in one formula, right? Do you guys remember we put everything together in one formula? But then, because we want to find revenue, and revenue is units times price, we have to put it into stages. Do you see why we put it into stages? So this is why I needed to put it into stages. I need the unit sales alone separately. Actually, I got the unit sales also in one step, but I just wanted to make sure that also we understand how things are done and why we subtracted the one. And I showed you in a practical example, even though it was a bit boring for some, but I hope that it was reinstilled in your beautiful brains why we needed to subtract one from whatever price here. And then, of course, how we found the unit, the units sold. Of course, this could be done in terms of percentages, in terms of segments, customer segments. And this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to talk about more or less, we're going to talk about, okay, what happened here? Okay, I'm not going to save it. So we're going to talk about sales and discounts. So talking about sales and discounts, we're going to consider this example right in front of you. So we have the following situation. Let me explain the situation quickly. So we have the following situation, guys. What happened? Okay, so we have the following situations. We have three different segments. One segment values our razors. So the product here is razors. So we have three different segments, and these segments as follows. We have the first segment, second segment, third segment. The first segment is, we call it the low valuation segment. And we call it a low valuation segment because it values our product at $30. This is the price it puts. This is the willing to pay price. This is the valuation. Then we have medium valuation segment, and these guys valuating our product at $40. Then we have a high valuation segment, and these guys are valuating our product, or this segment is valuating our product at $50. Would like to point out here that these segments in a Venn diagram could be visually presented as follows. This is the low value segment, this is the medium value segment, and this is the high value segment. In our situation right now, the assumption is the size of low value is equal the size of medium value is equal the size of high value. Could they be different? In reality, they could be different. But once we start now with a very minimum assumptions, then you can easily adapt the size accordingly. Now, as you may know, guys, the first point A that I would like you to understand is and you already know it, by the way, I'm just trying to revive you and let's say stimulate your memory. So the low valuation segment, this segment, will buy the product if the product was on sale for $30. All right. So if the product was on sale for $30, they will buy because there will be a surplus. Now these guys will also buy the product segment 2 because they also value the product at higher. So the value minus the price will yield a surplus. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. Okay, what else? If these also will buy. If, for example, lovely people, if, for example, the price of the product was set at 40, then these guys will not buy, even if they are willing to buy. And these guys will buy, and these guys will buy. At 50, only the 50 segment will buy. You understand this already, all right? So how are we going to represent this in the situation where we know that we have people in the market ready to buy our product, either being razors or whatnot. But they actually might buy or might not buy. They might be buying or they might not be buying. They might be buying, they might not be buying. The first condition we need to check for if they are buying or if they are not buying is the price. Does it yield a surplus? So this is A. So if the product price yields surplus, the portion or the proportion of the segment, this is a proportion of the segment that they are ready to buy. They will buy only if there's a surplus. If there is no surplus, and even though they are ready to buy, they will not buy. So if the product price yields a surplus, then these guys, for example, the MV coded as 1 and the LV coded as 1 and the high value coded as 1 will buy. Else, they won't. So what is the situation? Situation is like that. If V minus P is greater than or equal to 0, buy. Else, not buy. So this is how we present it mathematically. I hope you understand this point. The second point that I would like to explain here is the idea in marketing that when we're talking about valuation, generally in marketing, I always tell my students, especially when I teach them the customer lifetime value, we're talking about two main, but now I expanded this into a third dimension, but we're talking about two main dimensions. the monetary value, and then the frequency. How often are they gonna buy my product? This is kind of very common, especially in data analytics. So over here, since we have 3 different segments, that would be low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. That is low money, medium money, high money, low frequency, medium frequency with a subset of an F. So that will correspond to high money, low frequency. This is high money, and in terms of medium frequency. This is high money, and this is low frequency. This will be medium money, medium money, medium money, corresponds to low frequency, and so forth. You got the point. And accordingly here, let's keep going. Low money, low frequency. These are the worst, right? This is low money, and the frequency is high. This is low money, the frequency is high here, frequency is medium here. Now, this is maybe outside our context for now, but in terms of shopping centers and all that, this is the worst segment. This segment, I don't really care about it because they don't spend that much money and they don't come out often. So why are they better than this segment, for example? They also spend low money, but they come often. It is very well known in research, in marketing research, that when you get into, psychologically, mentally, when you get into a supermarket or a store or the mall and you find nobody, you won't feel as good mentally as when you find people roaming around to a certain extent, not overly crowded, but to a certain extent that there are people roaming around. It's lively, it's vivid. So these people are bringing value because they're coming often. So they are increasing visits or increasing traffic. So we like these people because they contribute to building up an atmosphere in the shopping center, the mall, or. Now, because the costs are all fixed, it doesn't matter. And over here, these guys are probably shady. I'm not sure. Low money, and the frequency is medium. It depends what is it that you prioritize. And all these guys here is the bestest segment because these guys are high money and high frequency. These are low frequency. I'm sorry. No, high frequency. So this is high frequency and high money. So this is the lowest one. This is the plus one that we really like this segment because this is a very high segment. So this is the number 1 segment. This is the high valuation segment. Or maybe you might think that this is, it says here, this is high money. You might think that these two together are high valuation segments. So it depends on your business and your team and your analysis. What is it that you would like to, how you like to segment your customers. But a general rule is to segment these as high, medium, and high, medium, low frequency. Now this will yield 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different segments that we are interested in because they are high money, low frequency. Here medium money, medium frequency are also good. Maybe if you want to get rid of the low frequency here is all right if you don't want the low frequency people, but they are medium money also. So you probably won't be interested in this, or you probably gonna put all these together as you wish. It depends on your managerial sense and how you do it based on your business. But in any case, if you want to consider each and every segment alone, you will end up with 6 to 9 segments, but actually 8 segments because this segment, nobody really cares about it. But you probably want to study how you can migrate this segment or as many people in this segment as possible to the next, especially if the size of this segment is very high. So if the size of this segment is very high, then you can move to another segment or find strategies to move it to the other segments. hopefully up here at least. So in any case, the idea is here, this will complicate our analysis if we start with a very detailed model. So the assumption here in the question, so I gave you the real life situation, so you won't be surprised if you still remember all this work and end up working in a bank or in a shopping center or elsewhere. So in the real life situation, lovely people, we have all these segments. You can actually segment the customers. But right now, we are going to focus on the idea that we have high monetary value, medium monetary value, low monetary value, and all of them have the same behavior in terms of frequency of buying, because this is not coming and visiting the mall. This is the frequency of buying a product. So if the product is usually good for 1 to 2 years, then, and they are equally likely, either high value, medium value, or low value, equally likely to buy the product in 1 or 2 years, again, to renew their razors in 1 or 2 years, then this is the frequency rule, or the frequency behavior, the purchasing behavior, frequency of purchasing behavior that could describe all 3 segments. And this is just also an oversimplification of any assumption, but not really, because in some products really it is product related rather than the example I gave you for a mall. So if the product could be changed in 1 or 2 years, and all your segments, regardless of the monetary evaluation, they are going to buy the product either in the first or the second year, then it's okay. It's understandable, not necessarily oversimplified. I withdraw this. All right. So now, if we're gonna take a look at the question, this is exactly what we're doing. So we are doing here $30, $40, $50 kind of segments, and the eraser is equally likely to last for 1 or 2 years. So this is the frequency here. This is the frequency. So it will last 1 or 2 years. What does that mean? Let me go back here and try to explain exactly what does that mean for us as building a model. So the first one, we understood that the first main goal is to check if there is a surplus. If there is a surplus, then the segment will buy. If there isn't a surplus, the segment will not buy. But actually the segment will buy or will not buy based on the frequency. Meaning, if I have here different time, this is time 0, this is time 1, this is time 2, this is time 3. Or let's say that there is a certain price. So there is a price for under different, there are different periods, all right? And there's a price associated with each period. So meaning at certain time of the year, we're gonna put the product on a discount, maybe $30. In another period, we're gonna put it on a discount, which is about $50. And then we're gonna put the product on no discount, for example, if you want. So we want to see how do we put the product on a discount, or how which period gets the discount, basically. So if we are saying here that it's 30 over 50, that would be a discount of 60%. And if we are saying the product is going to be $40, and that 40 over 60, that would be actually not like that. We're going to put it as the following. We're going to say 30 minus 50, and then we're going to say this over 50. I'm trying to put this, so that would be about 40% discount. And then if we are putting the price at 40, then that would be 20% discount. So we now wanna know which periods that we have. So we have here different periods, campaign periods that we would like to schedule a discount, and we would like to know which discount we should throw or roll out. We know that we can go as low as 30 and we can go up to 40 also, but 50, let's say, is not a discount because it is the maximum valuation. So we're gonna price the product normally probably around here, but then often the product will always be on a discount. But we want to see, we don't want to put it always on $30. We want to or we want to put it depending on the system. We're going to let the system tell me, shall I put it on 30 or shall I put it on 40? So you thinking that always I should put the product on a discount for 30 will make me more money because these people will buy and these people will buy and these people will buy might not be true. The assumption that if I put the product on this discount all the time, the minimum, that then the low valuation, medium valuation, high valuation will all buy is not necessarily true, and the solver will show you how is this so. So we need the solver to find for us the prices here for a certain n here, time period, and this is, let's say, price or 0, let's say, and this is here price 1 or price t, and this is price t plus 1, t plus 2, and so on. So here, this is maybe, we should start with t. Let's start with t, it's okay. We don't have to put price 0. The original price, we already know it's 50, it doesn't matter also. So this price t, this price t plus 1, t plus 2, t plus 3, until we get to t plus n. All right, so now we understand that there is a price associated with each campaign period that we would like to set up. And this question is about setting up a discount. I know that I don't know how much low I should go as a discount. So I will go over and do a market research to find out how my customer value my product. In the past with bundling, we just took the valuation without segmentation. Over here, we are evaluating the average. One of the students last time in class, which was talking about cumulative average. Excuse me. And indeed, you taking the averages here, there's a way to do it, but I will show, maybe it's difficult to show you in this class. But I'm hoping to give some lectures, in fact, for percentiles and logistic regression with percentiles for classifications to find out these thresholds, up to which threshold we're gonna consider high valuation, low valuation, and medium valuation. All right, okay, so now the question is again and again that you want to find the discount, which discount I should go for, 30 or 40, or which discount for which period. Now I am explaining all this to explain the frequency. So we talked about having 3 main segments. Of course, here, as you can see, we have high valuation, medium valuation, and low valuation. Right, lovely people? We also, guys, talked about that they might buy or they might not buy at a certain period here, period 1, period 2, period 3, 4, and 5. Why? Because they maybe bought the razor here at period t equals 0. So if I bought the razor here at period t equals 0, I might buy it after 1 year at period t, or I might buy it at t plus 1. So I have 2 different scenarios. At time t or at time t plus 1, I might buy a razor. So I have two options here. So I might buy here, but I will not buy here, or I might buy I might not buy here, but I might buy here, or maybe if so, it's going to be every other year that I will buy, or every 2 years I will buy. So in any situation, this means that I am equally likely. This is what the question is saying. Question here is saying equally likely to last for 1 or 2 years. Equally likely. So it's not 30% that is likely to stay for 1 year and 40% is likely to stay for second year and the remaining, which is about another 30% for the third year. It's a very simple assumption, equally likely. So 50% likelihood it will stay for 1 year and 50% likelihood it will stay for 2 years. Meaning, if I bought the razor at time t equals 0, 50% it will last here, 50% it will last here. Good? Understandable? Very good. Let's proceed. So now we have here people who are going to buy, people who are not going to buy. People who are going to buy, people who are not going to buy. People who are going to buy, people who are not going to buy. What is this for? This is for to satisfy two main assumptions for tracking the market. The first, if the surplus is satisfied, then these guys will buy. So if, for example, Solver tells us that the price over here at this period, the PT, let's assume, that is equal to 30, or the price is equal to 40. These people, this is only for discount, right? These people will always buy, because they value the product at higher value. So this is easy peasy. These high valuation people, this one will always buy. These guys, if the product value, because even if it's 50, they will buy. These guys, only if it is equal or less than 40, they will buy. So these, if this price is less than or equal 40, they will buy. These guys, if the price is less than or equal 30, it cannot be less than 30. We're going to set up the solver so that it can pull out the prices from this table. So basically, we don't want to go lower than 30 because we're going to lose a profit. These people are willing to pay up to 30. Let them pay 30 minimum. From 30 to 40, they are willing to pay. Let them pay 30. So we are not going to put it less than or equal. We're going to put it equal to 30 because we don't want to lose money and keep money in the pockets of customers when we have employees to pay their salaries, and we need to keep up money for innovation to serve our customers better in the future. All right, so these guys always will buy because 50, 40, 30 will satisfy the surplus. These guys will buy if it's less than or equal to 40, and these guys will buy only if this price is equal to 30. So over here, whatever number we are getting here, we're going to get the number of the size of the segment, or the number of people in that segment who are remaining in the market, who are in market, ready to buy our product. So even if we have a number here and they are ready to buy our products, they will not necessarily buy it if it doesn't yield a surplus. So we need to put this section first in our Excel sheet and have another section next to it where we say, if there is a surplus for this number, then they will buy. Give me the number. If it's not a surplus, then give me 0. Nobody will buy. So we need another section next to this section to test this condition, the condition of the surplus. Now, the second thing we need to look after, we're actually here are going in this table, we are trying to find out the number of people who are going to buy, either buyers or non-buyers of each segment. So the buyers here, or non-buyers, depending on the surplus, and also depending on the frequency. As we said earlier, 50% of these buyers, 50% of these buyers will actually buy in the following year. And the other 50, and whoever remaining of these guys will also buy in the next. So it's almost like 50% I will buy it every year, or I will buy it every other year. So this is why we have to also adjust for this. All right. So this is also another thing that we need to adjust. Also the question, if you take a look at the question here, let's continue to read. Currently there are 210 customers in the market. So basically what we are trying to do here, we are saying we have 210 customers in the market. And the question is saying that they are equal number that value the razors in these segments. So all these segments that we were talking about, all these segments, let me start a new one. Okay. So all these segments here, so we have first segment is high valuation, medium valuation, low valuation, some of high valuation, medium valuation, low valuation. All these three segments, as you can see, at a certain point, they will start with some people in the market. Usually we have 210, they say. Usually we will still have people in the market, and the number of people in the market is 210. 210 over 3, because I didn't specify 30% of them in the high value, 50% in the medium value, and 20% in the low value. If I give you a percentage, you need to multiply by the percentage. All right, so 210 is 70. So we have 70 in each segment. But we also divided the segments here into buyers and non-buyers. Is there any information about that? Let's take a look. So over here, each year, 20 new customers will, with each valuation, enter the market. And also add to this, I think there's something missing here, that the buyers and non-buyers also are equal segments. So I'm going to have to add this. The author didn't put that, but this is how we did it, and it's an equal section, an equally. So the buyers and non-buyers, buyers and non-buyers, buyers and non-buyers are equal. So over here, I didn't make space anyway for what I wanted to show, but it's okay. So over here we have 70, and then we have 20 for each segment. So 20 for high valuation, every year they enter the market. For a low valuation, we have 20. For medium valuation, 20 also enter the market. So we have 70 for this segment plus 20, and we have 70 plus 20, and we have 70 plus 20. However, 70 plus 20 is a total of 90 that they will be divided over 2 to find out the buyers versus non-buyers. So in the market, before we start any discount, this is the situation, all right, based on the assumptions of the market size. So that would be the market size. It just happened in this question when we make the assumption that they all have equal size and all that. But in the quiz, I might give you that this high value have 30%, these have 60%, these have 20%. This is more than 110%. So let's say this is 20, 40, 40, all right? 30, 30. Excuse me. All right, so now this is the starting point. Over here, we would like to compute how many people remaining in the market. So there's a price over here, and basically this price at the second section will tell us if the ones here, the buyers, will buy or not, because if it gives us a surplus, they will buy. If it doesn't, they won't. But now, for now, we want to compute and track the kind of customers who will buy. So for this tracking, what we are going to do, guys, over here is to find out the number of active customers in the market. how do we compute the number of active customers in the market? So the number of active customers in the market will be as follows. If they attain a surplus over here, then these guys will actually be already bought, but there is a likelihood that they will buy in the next year by 50%. So we're going to take these guys. Let's call them, what do we call them? Let's call them high sales, already bought. So these guys, the high sales have the likelihood of buying the product of 50%. So 50% of them will buy the product in the next year. This is probability and statistics. If the likelihood is 50%, this means in terms of numbers that 50% of the population will buy the product in the next year. So this is from the assumption from the question. All right. Then we have every year there are new people coming. Remember these guys over here? They are not only for this year. The initial year also started like that. But every year there will be 20 new customers coming. So for this purpose, we're going to also, these new, the high new also will be having, half of them will belong to buyers and half of them will belong to no buyers, exactly how we've done over here. So some of you might say, if this is the market size, why did we add, and this is the initial stage, why did we add the new there? In a sense, honestly, I also was confused. The first time I solved this without looking at the book, I didn't put them in there. So if you had similar ideas and thoughts, I feel you, because when I solved this problem at the very first time, I didn't add the new. The author was not clear about why we should add that. If you gave me the market size and then you told me that new customers every year, then I'm going to start adding the new customers in the next year, because I assumed you gave me the market size already before I start my discount. So that was a bit, I understand, that was a little bit the assumption here in the book is that we will still ask solver to give us a price over here. This is the thing, really. So if you had similar thoughts, don't worry. You're not stupid, or this is not an easy course or whatnot. No, it's not very clear in the question. It's just that because it's not my book, I can't change what he writes, but I'm gonna put in a box maybe on the slide my notes and to clarify his assumptions. So over here, I hope you understand that high sales will buy as 50%. The same applies for medium sales, because the questions say all of them are equally likely to buy in the first year or second year. So if they said in first year, second year, or third year, then you will divide over 3. So that will be times 1 over 3, which is about 33%. And also here, the medium new will also be 50% of them belong to buyers in the market. All right. So how about we talk about now those who didn't buy. Those who didn't buy, but they are high valuation, they are still in our market. It's not that they are outside our market. No, they are within our target market. But they didn't buy here because they already bought like last year, so they're gonna buy the year after. So if they didn't buy over here, they will buy the next year for sure. For sure, they will buy the next year, because it seems like they bought the period before. So these guys, the non-buyers, will become buyers. And this is from the question. So we're gonna take these guys, the non-buyers, the high valuation non-buyers, no buy, they're gonna become buyers. And then the last thing to do is to find out the difference between these guys and these guys. So basically the difference between the buyers here minus the non-buyers. This step, you won't understand it unless we start here. If I started my computation here, you will understand it. Over here in the high valuation, this will always yield 0. But over here, because these will always buy, the high valuation always will be $50 and they will buy. But over here with medium valuation, high valuation, and especially with low valuation, what happens, guys, is that these guys, if there's no surplus, they will not buy. If there's no surplus, they will not buy. So then you will need to, they will still be in market and ready to buy whenever the price drops. All right, guys, I think this is enough for this video. It's quite a long video, but I hope that was quite a good explanation for what we are trying to do. In the next video, we will work with the Excel sheet.